Jacob Elordi.
Allies out of the now Taliban-controlled country.
Meet a Siouxland man who served in West Germany during the Cold War in Veterans Voices.
And Iowa's governor defending her decision to keep mask wearing optional in schools. Your KCAU 9 News at 10 starts now.
We are Siouxland proud. This is KCAU 9 News at 10.
And good evening on a Tuesday night. Thanks for joining us. I'm Tim Seaman.
And I'm Sophie Erber. Tonight, efforts to get U.S. citizens and Afghani allies out of the now Taliban-controlled country.
And the Pentagon tonight saying that the airport in Kabul is open to civil air traffic as the Taliban holds its first press conference. The details tonight in our top story at 10.
Right now, we're looking at 1 aircraft per hour in and out of HKIA. We predict that our best effort could look like 5,000 to 9,000 passengers departing per day.
The Biden administration says it is an hour-by-hour operation right now at the airport, with troops processing evacuees as quickly as they can and loading them on planes.
American leaders say they have struck a tentative agreement with the Taliban to allow evacuations to continue through the end of the month.
ABC's Ian Pennell was at the Taliban's first press conference and asked about those wanting to leave the country.
Mr. Mujahid says that we are assuring the safety of all those who have worked with the United States and allied forces, whether as interpreters or any other field that they have worked with them. As for their talents and their skills, we do not want them to leave the country. We want them to serve their own homeland.
Meanwhile, the Taliban issuing a general amnesty across the Afghanistan borders, advising women to take part in public life, a move many Afghans feel will be short-lived.
And the White House is still making plans on where to house all of those evacuees. Many will go to neighboring countries, but others will be brought to the United States. Fort McCoy in Wisconsin is reportedly readying itself to welcome Afghanis. Senator Joni Ernst said yesterday that Iowa should welcome refugees, telling the Des Moines Register, quote, "We will take them." A Siouxland-based mission group who assists Haiti and its residents is reacting tonight to this past weekend's earthquake that rocked that island nation.
KCAU 9 reporter Jason Toktajian today took time to speak with representatives from the Touch of Hope organization. Jason?
Tim and Sophie, the Touch of Hope mission group is primarily focused on establishing schools in Haiti, but they told me that's not their priority right now. According to the BBC, more than 1,400 people have died from the 7.2 magnitude quake that struck the southern peninsula, and this is Haiti's strongest earthquake since the 19th century. Rescue missions have also been set back due to Tropical Storm Grace, battering the island with heavy rain and storm conditions. A Touch of Hope missionary explains what it was like for her group to experience the earthquake.
Fortunately, that was not close to our area where Touch of Hope is in Seamanette. We are on the other side of Port-au-Prince. However, they did feel some of the tremors of the earthquake, and through the next 24 hours into Sunday, felt some of those aftershocks as well. So we didn't get any damage.
Likeness told me that although Touch of Hope's schools and buildings are still standing, she says the people of Haiti still can't catch a break.
There's still a lot of trauma and PTSD from the first one 11 years ago, and now to add this on top of it. People fortunately know what to do now that didn't know what to do 11 years ago, but there's still so much from that, and I think a lot of people are just living in sheer desperation because they don't have anything. They were already in very poor circumstances.
Likeness told me that the mission group still plans on starting the new school year on September 6th. And if you'd like to support their cause, we provided a link on our website, siouxlandproud.com. Jason Toktajian, KCAU 9 News.
At a rally outside the White House today, young immigrants called for immigration reform, saying that it is long overdue. After coming to the U.S. at the age of 2, Carla Dorado first became eligible for DACA when President Trump was elected. She decided then not to apply, and the Trump administration tried to end the program. Well, she later tried to apply now under the Biden administration, but a federal judge in Texas has brought that state's program to a halt.
It's a lot of information that you give up when applying for DACA, and we didn't know what would happen during the next 4 years, if any of that would ever put me in more danger.
Now, the Senate reconciliation package does include funding for both border security and a pathway to citizenship for undocumented immigrants. But right now, even some Democrats oppose that $3.5 trillion price tag.
Meanwhile, Texas Governor Greg Abbott has tested positive tonight for COVID-19. The governor's office says Abbott is fully vaccinated and in good health and not experiencing any symptoms. He is isolating in the governor's mansion and receiving Regeneron's monoclonal antibody treatment.
As COVID-19 cases continue to increase in Iowa, Governor Kim Reynolds today said that she supports families who voluntarily send their children to school with a mask to protect against COVID-19. But Reynolds said she opposes mandatory mask requirements because some children had adverse physical or emotional impacts from wearing a mask.
Most importantly, Iowans, if you want your moms and dads, if you want your child to wear a mask, you can. I'm not saying no. So if you think that your child is better protected with a mask, by all means, send them to school with a mask. And I applied that same thing to getting our kids back in school. I think the parent should decide if their child should be in a classroom.
In January, the governor signed a law that requires all schools to offer 100% in-person learning. Iowa law also prohibits mask mandates.
The trial of a man charged in connection to a Sioux City stabbing incident began today with the beginning of jury selection. 54-year-old Michael Landrum is charged with first-degree murder for the death of 37-year-old Salahuddin Adem of Sioux City. He's also charged with willful injury to a 43-year-old woman. On September 11th of 2020, officers found those two victims suffering from multiple stab wounds. Both were taken to Mercy One. That's where Adem died from his injuries. Officials say they later found Landrum around 2:30 in the morning. He was located on the 2100 block of Nebraska Street in Sioux City. That's where they took him into custody.
Well, 1 out of 5 Nebraskans suffers from mental illness, but less than half of those people get the help that they need in crisis. Now, South Sioux City and the police department there teaming up with a local counseling service to help make that change.
That's right. And KCAU 9's Nick Wilson is telling us here tonight how the two groups hope to better serve the community.
Tim and Sophie, today mental health counselors met with South Sioux City Police for their annual review of what to do when responding to a mental health crisis in the community. The South Sioux City Police Department and Heartland Counseling Services reviewed how to help mentally ill people. Chief of Police Ed Mahon said the station has made a lot of progress over the last few years.
With their help, it's hard to imagine how far we've come as a department and the agency of Heartland to give the people of this county and this city better service.
Mahon remembers the challenges of handling mental health calls before the officers started working with the counseling service.
When I first started, you would get a call of a suicidal person, possibly, and you'd have to go up and basically an officer that really had any mental health training, you had to try to make a determination. That was very difficult, especially if somebody said, well, he said he was going to kill himself.
The officers learned how to act in various scenarios, as well as procedures for interacting with mentally ill individuals. Heartland Counseling Services Executive Director Jennifer Jackson said the counselors help take pressure off the police.
We want to be preventive, and so if we have an individual who calls the police department in crisis, they can always call us at Heartland, and Heartland can then help respond.
Heartland's help is not just limited to people with suicidal thoughts.
Let's say they have somebody who continues to call on a regular basis, maybe not be in crisis, but the police department knows that they may be struggling with their mental health. They can also call Heartland, and then we can follow up with those clients.
Jackson told me that Heartland Counseling Services get the majority of referrals for mental health help from two sources, schools and the South Sioux City Police. Nick Wilson, KCAU 9 News.
A now vacant building that served many purposes will soon be demolished. The Prairie Hills building has been unoccupied for 5 years now, and the Woodbury County Board of Supervisors has voted to begin seeking bids for the demolition of that 100-year-old structure. Formerly a country home and housing for low-risk inmates, the building has fallen too far into a state of disrepair.
We've been looking at that for 3 years or more, and it's a building that's deteriorating in front of our eyes. It has no utilities to it, has no water, no electric, and it is just a building that's lived its life. It's not worth repairing. It's not worth using anymore.
Woodbury County Sheriff's Office looked into refurbishing Prairie Hills and potentially using it for vehicle storage, but decided that renovation would still be too costly.
Wednesday marks the return of the annual Rivercade Parade to downtown Sioux City. The 58th annual parade runs from 4th and Court all the way to Water Street, getting started at 6:30 tomorrow night. Floats in various marching units, Shriners included again. The parade, all part of Rivercade, which celebrates the city's connection to the Missouri River. A lot of kids looking for candy and beads tomorrow night, I've got a feeling.
So I've heard. I'm sure candy is even more sought after than those beads, and all around some good weather for outdoor events just like this, Scott.
That's right. It looks like tomorrow is going to bring some pretty similar weather to what we experienced today. So a little bit on the hotter side for the middle of the month of August, but we are still in summertime. So as we look outside here from our Ho Chung Center camera in downtown Sioux City, maintaining mostly clear skies at this moment. Temperatures are still very warm out hours, then starting to fall apart some through the afternoon. We get a break in the rain on Saturday, mostly sunny skies, a high of 83. Some more storms a possibility on Sunday, and then it looks like things will stay pretty quiet as we move through the majority of next week as temperatures tumble from the mid 80s to the lower 80s next Wednesday and Thursday. We've had some awesome sunrises and sunsets as of late. A part of the reason for that being that smoky situation that we've had. Thankfully, that's not too bad at the moment, but this is a great one that was taken out in Kingsley, Iowa. Thanks to Rich for snapping this picture. You can also see a couple of kayaks there enjoying their time on the waters. If you have a picture that you want to share with us, make sure to go to SiouxlandProud.com, find the weather tab, and send us your cool photos.
It's like a great time.
You were talking about being a little bit warmer tomorrow. It seems like Rivercade Parade Week always is hot.
You know, you have to make sure that you grab that chocolate off the ground pretty fast if it's tossed, or else, you know, it could melt.
It'll be mushy.
Yeah.
That's right.
Kind of gross. Thanks a lot, Scott. Well, the Norfolk Veterans Home has welcomed a new president, but this woman is made of bronze.
What this newly dedicated statue means to the history of women who helped during the war. We'll have that coming up. But first, a Siouxland veteran shares his experience while being stationed in Germany during the height of the Cold War. That's next in our Veterans Voices.
You're watching KCAU 9 News with Tim Seaman, Sophie Erber, Chief Meteorologist Scott Larson, and Sports Director Jake Jones. This is KCAU 9 News at 10.
Welcome back. He served in West Germany during some of the more dramatic times of the Cold War.
KCAU 9 reporter Dylan Adams tonight sharing how Howard Gray and his unit prepared for a Soviet invasion in this week's edition of Veterans Voices.
Some of those little towns that never did get rebuilt, I'll bet there's still little piles of concrete.
This is what Howard Gray remembers most of the German countryside when he was there with the U.S. Army from 1958 to 1960.
A lot of it was junked. We junked that country, let me tell you. From what I saw 15 years after the war.
Gray was stationed at Ayers Kaserne, just outside Butzbach, Germany, about 30 miles north of Frankfurt. The base is commonly referred to as the Rock today. Gray explained why he thinks it got its name.
Go get a rock, take it to the West End today. Tomorrow, go get a rock, take it to the East End. That might have been why it was called the Rock. I never thought about that.
After advanced training in Fort Hood, Texas, he says he became well equipped to repair M52 tanks.
So I always got elected to the company when we had a tank fall out along the road. Call back and say, Gray, when you come to that tank, get on it. Catch up with us when you can.
And shortly after arriving to the base, Soviet Premier Nikita Khrushchev gave his first ultimatum to the Western powers, giving them 6 months to get their forces out of Germany or else.
We thought, this is it, old boy. You're going to find out how tough we are. We had gone up into the hills of Fulda Gap. That was our objective.
Gray said they were organized extremely well so that if Khrushchev did send his forces, they'd have to go right in front of them.
We had it planned out to where he'd have been a complete idiot. You know, he'd have been a pile of junk.
For Veterans Voices, Dylan Adams, KCAU 9 News.
Of course, the Soviets never did follow through and invade Germany, with the Berlin crisis resolved by the construction of the border wall in 1961. The Berlin Wall continued to divide that country until its destruction in 1989. And KCAU 9 News is proud to tell these stories of our Siouxland veterans, plus nominations are always open. So if you know a veteran with a story to tell, we'd like for you to email us right there at the address on your screen. That's veteransvoices@kcautv.com.
The Norfolk, Nebraska Veterans Home welcomed Governor Pete Ricketts today. The governor dedicating the new Our Canteen Lady statue that honors the woman, I should say the women, who served on the home front during World War II. The ladies served with homemade food, coffee, and snacks as troops passed through.
And we need to do the same thing today. So we need people to volunteer at places like our veterans homes to help take care of our veterans and thank them for the service they've given to our country.
The governor was joined by the sculptor herself, that's Sandra Johnson, as well as many community leaders all today. Great day for that.
Absolutely, to be outside, and another great day to be outside for you. Sports Director Jake Jones in the house. Jake, what do you have tonight?
Well, we finally get to start our high school football two-a-day coverage. Kicking off tonight, our first of 20 previews. We'll start the festivities with the OAB-CIG Falcons. I've got your preview still to come after the break. In tonight's game to tomorrow at 5 for a doubleheader, with Game 2 hoping to start at 7 o'clock.
Fingers crossed. And it looks like they'll have good weather down there tomorrow.
Here's hoping. I'll tell you, I love this part of the job. I'm super excited. We have 19 more teams in the next 10 days, guys. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Can't miss a show.
You really can't.
That's for viewers.
Not that any of you do.
Right. We love our loyal viewers. Thanks a lot, Jake.
Stay with us. We'll get a quick update from our own loyal Scott Larson. He's standing by. Quick update on the evening forecast after this live look of a darkened downtown.
I know we've been promising a gradual cool down, at least overnight, but really temps not falling off all that much this evening.
Yeah, not too fast out there, at least. We are going to have high temperatures back in the 90s for a couple more days. But as we get into late Thursday night, we'll have the arrival of some storms. Those will carry over into Friday. Highs will dip into the 80s, overnight lows in the 50s later on down the road, so it will become more comfortable soon.
All right, Scott, thanks. And thanks for joining us on this Tuesday.
We'll see you tomorrow. Good night.